Alright, folks, I am your host, the Dynamite Grip, and today on Comic Fever, I got some stuff for you. Um, Today is the spoiler, non spoiler review of Secret Empire number 10. The usual, we'll start off with non spoilers, and writer is Nick Spencer, pencils, Steve McNiven, inks, Jay Liston. Uh, Colors are Matthew Wilson. Letterer is VC and Travis Lanham. I'd like to know what that VC stands for, but anyway. And cover art is by Mark Brooks. And what a beautiful cover it is, right? Anyway, the art was very good. The cover art was exceptionally awesome. Maybe because I am a fan of Steve Rogers, but it could also be the fact that the way he's standing and he's got his shield up, and he's got all the um, rest of the heroes basically knocked out. You know, he's in a crowd of fallen heroes, and it's just cool. Um, but it's not just awesome, but it's also chilling in a way because uh, it is a new. Um, it's a new way of seeing Captain America. We're not used to him looking like this. I don't think. Uh, I like Steve Rogers as Captain America because to me he's always stood for not just your typical, like the good old statue says, but give me your poor, your tired, your huddled masses. But he also stood for justice. But besides all that, with this book's secrets, I think we are going to see the return of an old friend. Um, Anyway, I won't ruin that for you if you don't want it. So, anyway, um, I'm your host of Dynamite Group, and if this is as far as you go, then I'll see you on the other side. Okay, Secret Empire 10 spoiler review. Okay, Hydra, Captain America, Steve Rogers, Madam Hydra, The Underground, Hawkeye, Captain America, Sam Wilson, Tony Stark AI, Spider Man, Old Man Logan, Ant Man, Winter Soldier, Captain America. The others Steve Rogers, Kobik, Jason McAllister, and Brian McAllister. Now, to start this off, I don't know if people have noticed. I mean, I didn't exactly start this from the very beginning, so um, maybe this is no, but if you ever noticed, it seems as though um, for it being the same story over and over again, it does seem to have um, uh, you know, different characters that come in and out, and some that aren't even mentioned at the beginning, but that are mentioned at the end of the series. Um, I do find this particularly, what's the word I'm looking, not upsetting, but kind of confusing because, they're in one story or one part of the story, but they're not in another. Um, some I get it, like Kobik, for instance. She wasn't in every story, but like Jason McAllister and Brian McAllister, they were in the story, and not from the onset. I mean, there was considerable story length that they weren't in, but they were in uh, quite a bit, but they weren't mentioned. Um, in the, I believe it's called the cap page, which is basically, it's the middle page between the very beginning and the start of the story, where they just, they list everybody is in it. But anyway, so that's kind of confusing. Anyway, back to the story. So here we are. We start basically where we left off. Captain Hydra, or the Hydra's version of Captain America, however you want to put it, stands before the crowd, raises a glowing hand, and says two words: stand down. The fighting stops but for a moment. Captain Hydra makes a speech to the heroes, telling them that he realizes they think they are doing the right thing, but they aren't. Hydra will do the right thing, restore and rebuild things in a better, non corrupt fashion. He ends his talking by saying the time for fighting is over. Spider Man makes an off the cuff remark about Captain America's new suit to Tony Stark, Stark's AI, about how pissed he must be because Cap's new suit has stolen Tony's color scheme. Tony responds with, "You have no idea." After Hagrid makes one last plea to the heroes, saying how if they work together, they could all make a difference. Old Man Logan speaks up and says, "Gotta stop you right there, bub. I don't think you're gonna get many takers on that." Captain Marvel agrees and adds, "We're just waiting to hear the word." With that, Hawkeye takes the cue and says, "Avengers assemble." Narration comes on and tells how they took the moment and all at once they bombarded him. But even as they piled on, clawed, and punched, they knew they didn't stand a chance. Captain Hydra now beat with the heart of a god. With the cube now embedded in his chest, he could now warp reality to his very will. He remade everything in his own image, in Hydra's image. He changed the very essence of the world, present and past. Everything they believed, everything they were, he washed away. After he was done, he gazed out on everything and was pleased with what he had done. In this new land, he saw perfection, but something was missing. Something had not changed. We had hope. As Captain America was looking over his new image, a voice says, "The wise man once said," Cap Hydra, Cap Hydra turns, and it is Captain America, Sam Wilson. Sam finishes, "It's not over till the fat lady sings." Captain Hydra says, Sam says, "Captain America." Sam then says, "I heard you were looking for this," holding up the last remaining cosmic cube fragment. "Careful, Sam," Winter Soldier warns. And then it says, "Now," and Winter Soldier says, "Get ready." And then Rita comes back on and says, "In that moment, facing down unspeakable evil, we remembered. We remembered how he did the same, how he never wavered. We honored his legacy by forging a new path." Cam, Sam gets on his knees and says, "Hail Hydra." This is a surprise, Captain Hydra says to Sam. Sam talks about how he had given up this fight a while back. He just wanted to keep more people from getting hurt or killed. Good, Captain Hydra says. That's the right call. I am proud of you, Sam. But you do have something else of mine. Sam, back on his knees, surrenders the shield. The Captain Hydra puts the cube to his chest, and narration says, now he possessed the power of the full cosmic cube, became something more, something beyond all comprehension. But as quickly as he gained that power, it slipped away. Captain Hydra falls to his knees and says, wait, what have we done? What is going on here? He looks to Ant-Man, Winter Soldier coming through a portal, and Ant-Man replies, hey, don't look at me, I was just his ride. Moments earlier, Winter Soldier says, you sure you're up to this, Ant-Man? And Ant-Man says, after I screwed up back at this mount, Secret Empire 4 or 5, can't remember which, I gotta do something to make things right. Screw up big, do something bigger in return. That's my shtick. Figure I can do it one last time. As Sam Wilson is giving the Cosmic Cube to Captain Hydra, Ant-Man and Winter Soldier shrunk down to the size that can travel to the inside of the Cosmic Cube. Ant-Man tells the soldier, if you hold on to this disc, you will keep shrinking. He asks, are you sure you don't want me to go with you? To which Winter Soldier replies, no, Scott, get clear. This is something I gotta do alone. It goes back days earlier. Sam Wilson. So what's this plan of yours, Buck? Gay, Hawkeye, Tony's AI, Sam Wilson, and Winter Soldier go over the plan. Hawkeye says, whatever you're planning, it has to be pretty big to impress Captain Hydra. Winter Soldier then goes on to explain how the cosmic fragments are just cosmic cube fragments. They're not just cosmic cube fragments, but they are fragments of a little girl, Kobik. And if they can get the pieces together, they can bring back the girl and the memory Kobik has of Steve, the real Steve. It jumps back to the current time with Winter Soldier entering the Cosmic Cube and says, now only if I can get to them. Kobik, Steve yells in what is Kobik's mind. Kobik, where are you? He runs into a daycare. Kobik, what are you doing? He asks. She's cowering and says, I am sorry, I messed up real bad. I just wanted everyone to be happy. I made him because I thought Hydra was the best thing, but he wasn't. He was horrible. Steve bends down to Kobik, and Kobik says, and now he is too strong. A rumble can be heard. We can hide here. He won't find us. She continues. Then the real Steve says, no, Kobik, listen to me. That won't work. He talks about how he's been fighting fascists his entire life. Now there is no running from them. And how there is no running from them. How when it comes to fascists, there is only one way to defeat them, to stand up and fight them. He tells her how he knows she is scared, but if she can't face this alone, depend on him and he will help her. Then, as they are leaving the daycare, wait, do you hear that, Steve? They hear someone yell. Steve, they hear someone yell. Kobik says, uh-huh. It's Steve cuts her off. Kobik says, uh-huh. It's Steve cuts her off and says, Bucky. Steve, Bucky yells again. Bucky, Kobik yells. We're coming, Steve replies. They go into a shining light. Bucky saying to Steve, give me your hand. Bucky, Steve says again. It's okay, I've got you, Bucky says. Where is it? Where's the cube? Captain Hydra says fearfully. Bucky, what did you do? I'd like to take credit, Bucky says, but she did most of the work, pointing to Kobik coming through the portal of the cosmic cube. Kobik, Captain Hydra says, no, this can't be happening. Not after all this. Kobik begins to warp things back to the way they were. Captain Hydra screams, no! Narration. She swept his creation away in an instant. The order restored, but it was who she brought back that would determine our fate. The man who stood for everything and everyone. Our champion, Captain America. You're not real, Captain Hydra says to Captain America. Captain America replies, from what I hear, that's kind of up for grabs at the moment. Captain America continues, it's time the people saw the truth. Captain Hydra responds, the truth? You are a lie they drummed up to make everyone forget to break them. I'm trying to fix this. Are you? Captain America says. Look around you. Chaos, destruction. You're not building, you're destroying. You're not making a new beginning, just making it all end. Captain Hydra says, and what about you? You think you're worthy of protecting this country, these people? You couldn't even protect your own mother. Captain America says, that shield doesn't belong to you. Captain Hydra says, pulling down his new and improved helmet, take it from me. The final fight. Narration. It was more than just a fight between two men. It was a fight for the heart and soul of a country and its people. It would decide the future and whose world we would live in, what our dreams would be. Bucky tries to run in to help Steve. Captain America, Sam Wilson, stops him, saying, you gotta let them hash this out themselves. Narration continues. They were so perfectly matched. Two warriors fighting with the same emotions, the same unbreakable will. It felt like it could go on forever, and the world watched on. But even as things were, or our champion did not falter. He was at war with his worst nightmare, a twisted and warped version of himself, and all he stood for. This battle was so epic it inspired us. It taught us the most valuable of lessons. Do not run nor hide from this kind of evil. Stand, you fight. Stand, fight. Stand and fight. You do this until you no longer have the will to stand and fight anymore. This is the greatest test of you and your enemy. They had come to power on the back of a lie. A lie some even made to believe. Others let them believe. They had made us feel small, weak, fearful. They reveled in their strength and power over us. They reveled in their strength and power over us. But as our champion promised, it was time to see the truth. Broken, battered, Captain Hydra tries to pick up the hammer. More narration. They had forgotten one thing. They had never been worthy. Captain America says, here, let me try. Picks up the hammer and in one swift motion takes out Captain Hydra. Standing over Captain Hydra's broken body, Captain America says, never again. He apologizes to all the heroes, saying, it wasn't. Then Tony interrupts him, saying, we know it wasn't. We are just glad to have you back. To Sam Wilson, he says, I told him this didn't belong to him. It doesn't belong to me either. Give him back the shield. Then give him back the hammer. Narration. The battles were over and the war had been won. And what had once seemed impossible was now the moment we lived in. Kobik says, as farewell, I'm sorry I got it wrong. I know what to do now. Thank you. Narration comes back on. Kobik had restored the history that we thought we had lost, but though she gave us our history back, she left us the scars and wreckage, a reminder of the promise of never again. And for some of us, the ones who stood for the future, she gave a gift, a journey of discovery through the vanishing point. And when we returned, we were restored, reborn. There were battles and tests ahead of us, but in this moment, we were everything we had lost. Or everything we had lost. We were once again Earth's mightiest heroes. Epilogue. For weeks to come, the world got back to a sense of normalcy. We rebuilt what we could, mourning the loss of what we could not. Life would go on, but deep down we always knew none of us would be the same again. Brian McAllister, please sign. An inhuman standing in the line of a detainment camp is called by a man with a clipboard. Brian steps out of line and walks over to the man. What is this? Brian asks. A standard form. It indemnifies the United States government of any harassment or harm we may have endured while at Camp New Attilan. You can have a lawyer look at it, but that means standing in another line. Brian McAllister, happy just to be getting out, says, "No, just give me that." Brian walks out and is greeted by his little brother, Jason, screaming, "Brian! Jason! Jason, it's okay, buddy," Brian says to his younger brother, Jason. Walking to the car, Brian says to Jason, "Let's get you then in the car." Jason, asleep. Brian says, "Home." Narration. We go back to our lives, our homes, our families, but we still and always carry the scars of what happened. What a mess, Brian says, and we watch to his home, away for so long. Brian tucks Jason into bed, but as he does, Jason says, "Brian." Brian responds, "Yeah, it's gonna be okay now. The good guys won, right?" Brian responds, "Yeah, the good guys won." Night, pal. Narration. We can restore and rebuild. We can mourn what we lost and honor it. But the ghost was still there, whispering in our ear. "I guess I should clean this mess," Brian says, changing out of his jumper into his regular clothes. But then he collapses into his bed, saying, "First thing in the morning." Narration says, reminding us how far we had fallen, how the darkness almost consumed us. But that wasn't the end of things. Brian is woken up by a clack, clack, clack sound. He gets up and walks outside. As he does, there he is. "Morning, Brian." Brian walks outside, and Miss Peters and her class are helping to repair the house. Brian asks Miss Peters what's going on. Miss Peters just replies, "Some extra credit for the class." Brian says how all this isn't necessary, but Miss Peters says, "Yes, it is." Jason and Marcus are fighting over a Captain America figure, and Miss Peters says for them to stop and share. The last of narration says, "Because in the end we fought back and overcame. We lost so much, but we never lost hope." I am your host, Dynamite Crip, and this is the supposed end of Secret Empire. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy all my reviews. Stay tuned for more. I get some stuff coming. Alright, so as I say at the end of all my videos, I'll see you on the other side.